Discover your inner goddess and live up to your highest value and most abundant potential. Welcome to Grateful Goddesses, a podcast that empowers you to unleash your inner goddess and take the leap of faith to live your best life. Your guide, Karen Pulver, joins her fellow goddesses in soulful conversations about gratitude, personal growth, authentic living, and a bevy of topics affecting women today. Let's start the show with your host, Karen Pulver.
Welcome back, everyone, to Grateful Goddesses, and I'm so glad that you're here today, joined with our featured goddesses, Alyssa, Dina, and Rachel. We are so humbled as we are going to be having the guest goddess today, ultimate goddess, Dr. Edith Eva Eger. Dr. Edie is a native of Hungary. Edith Eva Eger was just a teenager in 1944 when she experienced one of the worst evils the human race has ever known. As a Jew living in Nazi-occupied Eastern Europe, she and her family were sent to Auschwitz, the death camp. Her parents were sent to the gas chambers, but Edith's bravery kept her and her sister alive. Toward the end of the war, Edith and other prisoners had been moved to Austria. On May 4th, 1945, a young American soldier noticed her hand moving slightly amongst a number of dead bodies. He quickly summoned medical help and brought her back from the brink of death. After the war, Edith moved to Czechoslovakia, where she met the man she would marry, and in 1949, they moved to the United States. In 1969, she received her degree in psychology from the University of Texas, El Paso. She then pursued a doctoral internship at the William Beaumont Army Medical Center at Fort Bliss, Texas. Dr. Eger is a prolific author and a member of several professional associations. She has a clinical practice in La Jolla, California, and holds a faculty appointment at the University of California, San Diego. She has appeared in many numerous television shows, including CNN and the Oprah Winfrey Show. And how are you? Hi.
Good. Hi.
So Dr. Eger, what should we call you?
Oh, just Dr. Edie, that's how people call me.
Thank you, Dr. Edie. Remember, we met when I bought your book and I recommended it to my very dear friend in La Jolla, and she contacted you and you met with her and helped her, and you helped her so much with so many things in her life. And then you came on a book club with a mother-daughter book club with my daughter and shared so many amazing insights. And here you are today joining me and my girlfriends, Alyssa, Dina, and Rachel. And this is our podcast, Grateful Goddesses, where we talk about our lives, we talk about things we're learning, our journeys. And Dr. Edie, you are the ultimate goddess. You are the ultimate. You are. We have so much, though, yet to learn. We're so appreciative for everything in our lives, but can you please help us to talk about, I know you've been through some horrendous struggles when you were younger, and now with what's going on in the world, first COVID and now all the social injustices, and us as 4 white women, we want to know what we can do. What choices can we make? Can you help us learn about this?
Well, one of the things I can tell you that you cannot give what you don't have. So I ask you to love yourself. I ask you to get up in the morning and look in the mirror and say hello to the you that will never ever be replaced. You're one of a kind. There'll never ever be another you. And so I think it starts and ends with us, that you're born alone and you die, and then there is something in between, and it's called a lifestyle. And the lifestyle, thank God, you're asking me what we white women can do. Well, we're human beings. We're not better or less than anybody else. It's the quality of your life that hopefully this is a good time out for you to take really a good inventory where you are, because maybe you are a wonderful mom and a wife and a daughter, but that's what you do. It's not your being, it's your doing. So I hope that you examine that being the way you would like to be remembered. And goals right now, because you already raised your children, you may be as very happy as you are, but you may want to go back to school. You may want to get your license as a psychologist, as I did, and you may just want to commit yourself to someone or something other than you. And I think you're doing that already, but you may not give yourself enough credit. Sometimes people go into the yes, but I didn't do this, yes, but I didn't do the other. And rather than saying yes, but, change it and you say yes, and furthermore. And get rid of two words like always. I always do that. I never will. And say up till now I did, and now I can have a new beginning. So there is no going back. There is a new beginning, a renaissance, and it can be a very exciting time in your life, what you're holding on to and what are you willing to let go of. Like the need for approval of everybody. You know, I am happiest now because I like a standing ovation, believe me. It's not the base, it's the cherry on the top and the whipped cream. It's the extra. It's the extra. The base is here.
Inside, yes.
Hopefully I am a person totally dedicated to prevent anything like this to happening again. So I don't have time to complain. I just say yes, and I can take anxiety and turn it into excitement. You see, because you have a calling, and I have a calling too. After two beautiful girls, my son was born. Mm-hmm. And my husband was very happy. By the way, my late husband's grandfather's brother was responsible for us to come to America. And he lived in Chicago. Oh. He built a temple too. And so Illinois is very dear to me.
Oh, that's
that
wonderful.
I was able to come to America. Something will develop like the girls did.
Right.
And if you read my book, my son didn't walk and didn't talk, and I was told to prepare my son to go to a school for retarded children. And so I was sent to Johns Hopkins, and a beautiful neurologist took my son a week later. He said, your son is not retarded. He looks that way, he's drooling. And he told me he needs occupational speech therapy, and it's up to you. You're gonna do what you can do, and then your son will do anything anybody else does. It's just gonna take him longer to get there. So you see, exactly that's what I did. I came back to Texas, and I dropped out of school. And my son graduated as a top 10 student from the University of Texas. So you see, we are given opportunities for opportunities, not
Absolutely.
to recover, but to discover
yes.
the kind of strength that suffering gives you. The more you suffer, the more strength you develop inside you. And no Nazi could ever take that away from me.
Dr. Edie, it's so great to meet you, even by computer. And, you know, we spend a lot of time in this group talking about taking inventory, taking stock of our lives, and how we can improve the quality of our lives. And in your book, which we all had the pleasure of reading, you talk about helping your patients experience freedom from their negative thoughts, their self-defeating behaviors, and you encourage them to make this choice to be free of this victim mindset. And as we get older at this phase in our lives, it seems like so much of these thoughts, the narratives, the stories we tell ourselves get more and more ingrained in us, right? As we age, they become sort of part of who we are, you know, what we tell ourselves. And so I would love to know, I know as a group, we would love to know, what are some of the tools that you offer to your patients to help them find freedom from whatever it is holding them back? What does that journey look like for somebody?
What I like you to do is think about your thinking, because what you think, you create. Mm-hmm. Okay? And then pay attention what you're paying attention to, because any behavior you pay attention to, you reinforce the very behavior that you want extinguished. So become your own good therapist by asking yourself, is this going to empower me or deplete me? So talk to yourself. And then you find out that everything starts with your thinking. And there is a gift in everything. You see, I was told in Auschwitz that the only way I will get out of here is as a corpse, that I'm subhuman. You see? So I differentiate between reacting or responding. I always ask young people, especially, to buy the book called The Karate Kid and find out that the best power is brain power. That if someone calls your name, especially bullying, I like to lecture a great deal on that to young people in the English language. When you are hearing the word you, just say to yourself, I'm gonna be dumped on. You are stupid, you do this to me, you make me angry. Nobody makes me angry. I make me angry because your behavior is unacceptable by me. You know, I'm judging you and so on. So I think, again, it's very, very important that you become your own good parent and ask yourself, is this really good for me? And if you see the chocolate cake that you love, but the doctor stay away from sweet, you have temptation that gave us temptation. You know why?
Why?
So you can practice the freedom of choice.
You can take a little bite, right?
Yeah. You start bargaining, I know.
Right,
I know.
right. You start bargaining.
That voice
right.
tells you, that's okay.
It's okay.
Just a little bit. And then pretty
Have
soon, you have a little wine,
yeah.
and pretty soon you have another little wine, and it turns into a bottle of wine. So I think it's very important for you to have a goal, and furthermore, see what you're focusing on, because anything you focus on has to be in alignment to get you to your goal. Mm-hmm. So what goals do you have? The question is not why me, but what now? I always like to live in the present and have in the morning an arrow that I choose to follow. Mm-hmm. Pick an arrow, a goal.
Dr. Edie, so nice to meet you. I found
Hi,
it.
Lena.
Hi. I wanted to talk a little bit about in your book when you are a judge gives you a boy to work with, a racist boy. And I thought it was so beautiful how you took us, the reader, through the introduction you had with him and how at the end you got to this place where you saw the common between the two of you. And speaking to this idea of forgiveness, and then you going and forgiving Hitler as well. Can you speak a little bit about how you did that? It seems like such a big thing to forgive.
I believe in a loving God, and I am very, very hopeful to live that way, that I practice love and joy and passion in life. And anything other than that, I know that I learned. I was not born with it. We're not born to hate. We hope to get rid of the us and them mentality. So when this young boy was sent to me, People don't come to me, they're sent to me. I lecture at a medical school, and the new residents come, and I tell them that your patient is your teacher. And what you don't like in them, you want to look at that in you. So when this young boy told me and got up and said, and I quote, "It's time for America to be white again, and I'm going to kill all the Jews and all the N-word and all the Mexicans and Mexican," the way he said it in Texas, and all the Chincos. So if I would have reacted, I know I would have shaken up this boy. I know I would have dragged him to the corner. I know I would step on him and tell him, "How dare you talk like that?" Because I was in Auschwitz and I saw my mother going to the gas chamber. But this is the time when I talk to God, as I did in Auschwitz, that I found God, that the God helped me to change hatred into pity. And I said, "God, what's the meaning of this young boy?" And God said to me, "Find the bigot in you." So I said to God, "It's impossible. I came to America penniless. I found out there is prejudice in America because I went to the bathroom and one of them was colored in a factory where I worked in 1949. And I joined the NAACP. I marched with Martin Luther King. He said, "Love is not what you feel, is what you do." And so God said, "Find the bigot in you." And then I realized that here is this young boy who was thrown out of his home. And he joined this guy who took care of only, his name was David Koresh. Maybe you can do some research on him. So, and then he told him how to go and destroy others because that would make him feel better. He's already on the bottom of the totem pole. So I began to feel sorry of this 14-year-old. And, you know, you create the atmosphere in your home, mostly the women do that. I created a place for him where he could feel any feelings without the fear of being judged. And I said, "Tell me more," because love is time, T-I-M-E, time. So I hope that you can structure your time between working and loving and playing. And I hope you love what you do, because I don't have a job. I don't have a job. I do my calling, and I'm grateful that I survived and feeling young and living in the present. And that's what I bring you today. And I have 3 children, 5 grandchildren, and 6 great-grandsons. Mm. And one, here are the twins that are 2 months old.
Beautiful.
Isn't that lovely?
That is beautiful.
The best revenge to Hitler. Yeah.
Best revenge.
Okay. Yeah. So I think this forgiveness.
Hi there. It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you.
You are really inspiring, and your combination, like the compassion that you can feel for others, I find extraordinary. And you have been in such an extraordinary circumstance, and for you to, you know, come out of that. And I know that you kind of view it as it was the only way that you could survive was, and to move forward was to reconcile that. But I just find it incredible, and just kind of building off of what Dina said about how you could actually find the compassion for others, for people that say that they hate you, but to be able to look beneath that, and even look beneath what Hitler did, and to understand that
he didn't do it alone. I just want you to really, I always tell people to read a book by Max Weber, who wrote a book called Capitalism and the Protestant Ethic, and referred to the Jewish people as a pariah. He didn't do that alone. You see, when a country suffers economically, they're looking for a scapegoat. That's what the Ayatollah did also in Iraq. Let's go kill Carter. You direct the attention outside of what really is going on. So you have to be really careful that there is no love without hate, there is no summer without winter, and there is no life without death. When you are angry, chances are you gave away your power, because underneath of anger is a lot of pain, and most of all, a lot of fear. So when you're angry, you may want to write down all your fears. And the biggest fear of a child is the fear of abandonment. And most of us, especially us girls, become what the dynamics of the family requires. So you become the responsible one, or the funny one, or whatever the dynamics requires. So if you are a firstborn child, you become the responsible one. You become the role model to the others. And that's the question that I will ask you. When did your childhood end? Because we grieve over not what happened, but what didn't happen. The childhood I never had, the dating I never had, that I would date and then dump that guy and then date another one and dump that guy. You know, I went from here to there because there was no PTSD. I just wanted to get normal. So when we were liberated, we got married, but we didn't know who we marry. You know, people ask me, did you love your husband? By the way, my definition of love is the ability to let go. Okay? So ask yourself, what are you holding on to and what are you willing to let go of? Because we messages with us. We call them injunctions. Because my mother told me, I'm glad you have brains because you have no looks. And even in a concentration camp, when there were some political prisoners eating when we were bombed, I wanted my sister to go ask for food because I didn't think that I could do it too, because she was the pretty one and I was the one who was not able to. I could have gone and asked for food myself. But I think what you do want to do is write down all your fears and also write down a way that you maybe are holding on to something that is not true. It's mythology. Because if you call me any names, I don't take it personally. If you call me a stupid idiot, I'm going to say thank you for your opinion. And I think it's very important. If someone throws out the rope, don't pick it up. Don't argue with people. Don't argue with them. If someone tells you the Holocaust didn't exist, you can just say, oh, no, I know Dr. Eger. No, just say, I hope you go to the German consulate. And by the way, Germany did fess up, and the largest Jewish population today is in Germany. And so we want to be sure that you recognize once you are angry, you're hurting yourself. And I am very selective. Who's going to get my anger? Yes, I'm angry, all right, but then I want to decide how long will I hold on to it because it's eating me up. So selfish is spelled self-ish, and take care of the self, that you're congruent, your mind, your body, and most of all, your spirit is in harmony.
Dr. Edie, you talk a lot about finding positivity and doing things that we enjoy. And I brought along the flowers that my husband gave me for our anniversary, 29 years, peonies, and they smell so good. And I wanted to know, what is some fun things, favorite things of yours? What are your favorite things, or not just, objects, but something that you like to do?
Well, I love music. I love dancing. I love reading. My books are there. I'm picking them up, putting them back. Then I pick another one. I read at night mostly, but I do watch Jeopardy. I'm pretty addicted to Jeopardy. 7:30 is Jeopardy time.
Right.
when I go to my daughter's home, we all sit down. My son-in-law is the Nobel Prize winner, and my daughter is a brilliant child psychologist, and three of us are sitting there knowing the answers.
Oh, that's
I knew
great.
the answer the other day, just a couple of days ago. I know Vincent Van Gogh, who cut off his ears.
Right.
I was the only one who knew the answer.
You were the winner.
It's so interesting. I was a teenager in the 80s in central Illinois, and I was one of 5 Jews in my high school. I experienced a lot of anti-Semitism. And as you said, when people are hurting, they blame others. So most of my high school was farmers. And when the farmers weren't doing well in the 80s, there was a ton of anti-Semitic literature was on a rise. And so again, it always seems so crazy. Like you're blaming the Jews for the, for the crops not doing well. And so, kind of that inner child in me, I never really dated growing up. And I feel like I missed out on that. And even when I see like romantic movies now, I cry hysterically. And I know it's that kind of pining and loss. And today I have teenage boys, and my oldest is in college. And, during this quarantine, they're missing, big moments. They're missing graduations, and they're missing, just different opportunities for connection, and education doesn't feel the same. And obviously it's not to the magnitude of the losses that you experienced, but when you speak to the children today who are still feeling the loss, and they feel it as, so greatly because to them it's all they know, what would you say to them?
I ask you never to cheer up a depressed person. I ask you to keep that feeling company wherever they are. And the way you do that in the English language, to go from here, don't try to understand something. I don't know that word at all. But I would say, sounds like you said about that, because it's about grief, not what is happening, but what is not happening. Okay, so go to the heart language and keep that feeling company. Don't say, yes, but you have so much to be thankful for. It doesn't mean anything at all. Just stay with that feeling and keep it company.
Wow.
You can survive it. It is temporary. It's not permanent. It's up to me how I use that time, that maybe I start to write a book. Maybe I do something that I previously avoided. Maybe I pick up the book by Dr. Eger that I thought, it's all for old people. No, it isn't. It's not old people. Hopefully you're going to be 90 as well, and decide every moment how you're going to be for something rather than against.
That's remarkable.
I'd like to tell you the second question. Okay, the first question is, when did your childhood end?
Yes.
And the second question is, would you like to be married to you?
Oh my gosh, probably not. Maybe. I don't know.
We have a lot to discuss.
Oh, that's a very interesting way to leave us.
I kept it to the end. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Great questions, though.
Thank you. Thank you. Everyone,
Okay.
hold. Do you all have your books? I got everyone a book, and I'm going to let them all know. And Dr. Edie, I pre-ordered 4 of your new book, The Gift. So girls, when they come out, I'll be delivering them to your door. And you are such a gift to us today, Dr. Edie. Thank you so much for joining us on Grateful Goddesses. And we are going to use this time to move forward, to make good choices.
Thank you, Dr.
Katie.
Edie.
Thank you, Dr. Edie.
I hope I get to give you a hug.
I know, soon. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Wow.
She is fabulous.
I know. So what are your takeaways?
Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think about, when did my childhood end? And
I'm thinking about not being married to me. Like, I'm obviously need to do so much work on being a better person that I'd want to be married to.
And the whole forgiveness is so hard to do, but it's so freeing when she took the pen and let go. It's like simple, but it seems simple, but just hearing her just so inspiring. Rachel, I loved her answer to your question too about sitting with our children. Like, I've been trying to cheer up my kids because they too are graduating, both of them, and I'm like buying balloons and streamers and graduation cakes, and meantime, I've never said like, it's okay to be sad. This sucks.
I don't think that's innately the way we respond.
No.
You know, I think that's some of, like, she had so much wisdom in that short time with us. Not to say that I didn't expect it, because I did. Yeah. But to your point of like, we want to fix the problem for our kid instead of just sitting with them and being like, this does suck. And I thought what was super important that she said, language that I don't use, is this is temporary. You know, this isn't permanent. And
well, to think that she thought those while she was in Auschwitz. I mean,
right.
She had hope. She had hope.
Yeah. It's funny. I've had that conversation with my son in college, because I do feel so bad for him. I feel it's such a limited time. And I'm like, I just want you to know, I know this sucks. I know it sucks. And I feel that this has been the hardest on him this period of time, this feeling of loss. But I feel like she is like a modern day Jewish Buddha. She is just so full of wisdom. And she is, I mean, there's no facade with her. There's nothing that's like she's working to like try to be there. Like, she is so genuine to her core. Absolutely. And that's why I felt like it just spills out of her. And I think that's why I felt that she just is overflowing with wisdom. And that's why even Karen, like, I didn't jump in with my question because I didn't want to cut her off. It's just so much good stuff coming out of her.
She doesn't need questions, but I wanted us all to, that's why I skipped to favorite things. I did want to ask her favorite things, because it's about her now and what she's like, her showing us her grandchildren, the twins. That was so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I really do feel like she is the ultimate grateful goddess. I mean, talk about going within and learning about herself and all of the lessons that she's teaching to the world and that she's telling us like to act and to do. So I'm really, really so happy that she shared all of that wisdom with us. And thank you too for coming today. And goddesses, if you would like to learn more about Dr. Edith Eger, please go to our website, www.gratefulgoddesses.com, where there will be links towards her book, The Choice, as well as you can pre-order her new book that's coming out in the fall called The Gift. Thank you for joining us.
Up next, favorite things. Opening up to happiness and joy.
We're going to now do our favorite things. So did you bring along your favorite things today? Dina, what'd you bring?
This is my little green Buddha, and I love him very much. He sits by my bedside on my table, and I like to like rub his belly for what I think is luck or good dreams. I got him on the streets of New York, and I brought 2 of his little friends home, and my girls have them in their rooms on their shelf. Oh. So just makes me feel good and happy.
And Buddha represents what for you? Peace or balance?
Peace and balance, and I don't know, like I feel like rubbing his belly is like a lucky thing. I don't know.
No, that's great. How about Rachel? What is your favorite thing?
So in honor of Dr. Edie, I wore this necklace, which is, I love, it's like a hand woven metal necklace. And it's vintage, of course, and it's designed by a company called Whitey and Davis, and they make gorgeous metal bags, and they use recycled metal from World War II to make their bags and their jewelry. So,
oh wow,
beautiful.
And Alyssa?
So I too love really beautiful smells of flowers, and peonies. They're my favorite flower, Karen. But I also really love the smell of grapefruit and like anything, lotions and candles and anything. So I just found this in Trader Joe's, since we're all constantly searching for sanitizers and wipes and all of that. This is a grapefruit and lemon hand sanitizer spray. It smells delicious, and it has the appropriate amount of ethyl alcohol in it to kill all the germs. It's not just a pretty smelling spray. And I love the size. I bought one for everyone in my family, and then a couple of extras to leave in our car and various places so we can never be without. So yeah, I just found it there, and it's my new favorite COVID item.
Oh, that's great. I love smells. Good smells. So you saw mine. You can see they're all falling down because they're dying as we speak. But it's okay because, you know, about life begins and it ends. And I'm trying to stretch out these peonies as long as I can. And they smell so good. And I'm so grateful to be married to my husband now of 29 years. Now, would I be wanting, as Dr. Edie said, to be married to myself? I don't know. There's a lot of fixing to do, so I'm not sure. But peonies, and we have a little bush outside that actually, ironically, grows and every June, which is our anniversary. So that's our flower. Thank you for sharing your favorite things. And I loved hearing Edie's favorite things. Let's review what they are. I heard her say, of course, she used to be a dancer. So I was going to ask her to do her high kick, but she loves to dance.
Her trademark.
What else did she say? What else did she say? Music. Which
reading. She loves to read.
Oh, and all her books. Yes.
Jeopardy.
And Jeopardy, that's right. Watching Jeopardy. And that was so cute how she said that she was the winner the other night. That was wonderful. So I hope everyone listening finds things that they get joy from and happiness, just like Dr. Edie, the joy that she experiences even today doing those wonderful things. So thank you for joining us, goddesses. Have a great day.
Thanks, Karen.
Unleashed your inner goddess yet? Thanks for joining us today on Grateful Goddesses. We invite you to visit our website, www.gratefulgoddesses.com, to access today's show notes as well as other helpful resources. Don't forget to leave a review. Until next time, stay strong and empowered to be a grateful goddess.